You've been working hard for years. You've read the books, watched the videos, maybe even opened an investing app once or twice. But somehow, your bank account still doesn't reflect any of that effort. And you start wondering, am I doing something wrong? Or is getting rich just not in the cards for me? Here's the thing. Most people obsess over what they should be doing to build wealth. Side hustles, investing strategies, passive income. But almost nobody talks about the other side of the equation, the things quietly keeping you poor without you even realizing it. And that's actually the bigger problem, because you can do everything right on paper and still stay stuck, simply because a handful of habits are working against you in the background. So in this video, I'm breaking down 5 things you need to avoid if you actually want to build wealth. Not the obvious stuff. The stuff that's sneaky enough to sabotage you without you noticing. Welcome to my channel, and if you're tired of working hard but not seeing your money grow, make sure to hit subscribe. Let's get into it. Mistake number 1. Financing your lifestyle instead of your future. Here's what most people don't realize. Debt itself isn't the enemy. A mortgage on a house that grows in value, a loan for an education that raises your income, that's debt working for you. But financing a car that loses value the second you drive it off the lot, or putting vacations and dinners on a credit card, that's debt working against you. Let's look at the math for a second. Say you finance a $35,000 car over 6 years at a typical interest rate. You'll end up paying close to $6,000 just in interest on an asset that's worth less than half of what you paid for it by the time you're done paying it off. Now imagine investing that same monthly payment instead. Over those same 6 years, at an 8% average return, that money could have grown into $40,000 or more. Same cash flow, 2 completely different outcomes. Mistake number 2. Waiting for the perfect time to start investing. This one's sneaky because it feels responsible. I'll start investing once I get a raise. I'll start once the market calms down. I'll start once I have more saved up. But here's the problem. The market doesn't wait for you to feel ready, and neither does compounding. Let's say 2 people each invest $200 a month. Person A starts at age 25. Person B waits 5 years and starts at 30, investing the same amount. By age 60, assuming 8% average returns, Person A ends up with roughly $525,000. Person B ends up with about $350,000. That 5-year delay costs nearly $175,000. Not because Person B invested less money overall, but because they gave compounding less time to work. Waiting for perfect conditions is one of the most expensive habits in personal finance, and most people don't even realize they're doing it. Mistake number 3, letting your income grow without letting your savings grow with it. We touched on this idea before, but it deserves its own spot here because it's that damaging. You get a raise, and almost immediately, your spending expands to match it. Better apartment, nicer car, more takeout. Psychologists call this hedonic adaptation. Your brain adjusts to comfort so quickly that improvements stop feeling like improvements after a few months. Here's the trap. Your income doubles over 10 years, but your savings rate stays exactly the same, or sometimes it even shrinks, because now you have more room in the budget. Meanwhile, someone earning less than you, but banking half of every raise, ends up building more wealth than you, even with a smaller paycheck. It's not about how much you make. It's about how much of it you actually keep. Mistake number 4, trying to get rich fast, instead of getting rich consistently. Look, I get the appeal. Day trading, meme stocks, the latest crypto coin someone's cousin made 6 figures on. It's exciting. It feels like a shortcut. But here's what most people don't realize. The people chasing fast money are almost always the ones funding the people who play the long game. The S&P 500 has returned around 10% annually on average over the last century. That's not flashy. Nobody's making a viral video about, "I made 10% this year." But consistency compounds in ways that speculation almost never does, because speculation requires you to be right repeatedly, while consistency only requires you to keep showing up. Wealth isn't built from one brilliant bet. It's built from hundreds of unremarkable decisions repeated for years without interruption. Mistake number 5, keeping your money completely idle. This is the quiet one. Not overspending, not bad debt, just money sitting in a checking account earning basically nothing, because moving it somewhere else feels intimidating or unnecessary. Here's the problem. Even if you're doing everything else right, cash losing value to inflation every single year is wealth slipping through your fingers without you noticing. If you have $20,000 sitting in an account earning 0.1% interest, inflation alone is quietly eating away several $100s of purchasing power every year. That same $20,000 invested and earning even a modest 7% grows into nearly $40,000 in a decade. Doing nothing isn't neutral. Doing nothing is a decision, and it has a cost. A real example. Let me give you a quick example of how these mistakes stack up in real life. I knew someone who made a great income, over $90,000 a year in their late 20s. On paper, they should have been thriving. But they financed a new car every 3 years, waited for the right time to start investing, let every raise disappear into lifestyle upgrades, dabbled in a few risky trades, hoping for a quick win, and kept the rest sitting in a checking account. 10 years later, despite a great income the entire time, they had almost nothing saved. Not because they didn't earn enough, because 5 small, quiet habits were working against them the whole time. Recap. So let's recap the 5 things to avoid if you want to build real wealth. 1. Stop financing things that lose value instead of investing in things that grow. 2. Stop waiting for the perfect moment to start, because time matters more than timing. 3. Don't let your spending rise every time your income does. 4. Stop chasing fast money and start trusting consistency. And 5. Don't let your money sit idle, because doing nothing has a cost too. Here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Getting rich isn't really about discovering some secret strategy nobody else knows. It's about removing the habits quietly working against you and giving good decisions enough time to compound. And once you strip those 5 mistakes out of your financial life, everything else gets significantly easier. If this video helped you see your money differently, hit subscribe. And I'm curious, which of these 5 mistakes hits closest to home for you? Let me know in the comments, because recognizing it is always the first step to fixing it.